What's going on, people? Yes, let's talk about this game. Let's talk about this game. If I'm being honest, I didn't see the majority of it. I saw up to half time. I saw past half time where we was trailing 2-1. And then after that, it was murder she wrote, because when I next checked the scoreline, we shipped 5 in, and apparently we shipped in a worldy goal as well. Now, the boys will be on very shortly to talk about it. I'm going to say my piece about it. That was just shit. That was just shit. Against a team, a very good team in Leeds. I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, like, it's hard to take, because we can't manage to put a run together of 3 wins. Do you know what I'm saying? 2 wins and that's it. That's all we're gonna get. So for me, bitter pill to swallow, all of that sort of stuff. So yeah, bit of a ball ache to say the least. This is the sort of result being coming. Yeah, I agree, Liam. You know, this result has been coming for a while. We've been riding the Bruce. I've just seen a comment there. We're riding the kind of Bruce way for a little bit, but yeah, it's bollocks, bruv, if I'm being honest. English Rob, hashtag Bruce out. It's never too early to say Bruce out, if I'm honest. I know I joke a lot and say Bruce line of football, but to lose 5-2, I don't care who to. That's shit. Even 40, Steve Bruce is finished. Yes, Sharky is absolutely done. But will he be out of a job? No, because, you know, Mike Ashley is protecting him, and he is, you know, I don't know. He's just a pawn, isn't he? I'm going to bring you in, Pete, to chat about it now, mate. Evening, sir. How are you doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
Yeah, just literally got in through the door. So apologies, people, for being late. Apologies, Pete. Apologies, Fumbi, as well. But to be honest, there was nothing to rush home to, really. Let's face it. I'm going to bring in Fumbi as well. Yeah, boys. How are you all doing?
Easy.
Just finished watching Spurs versus Liverpool.
I'm not even checked the scoreline for that one. What was the score for that?
Spurs lost 2-1. Last minute goal from Firmino.
No way.
It's good headed as well.
It was a bit of a shit game.
It was nice.
I watched it.
Yeah, it was nice to watch football, man.
Yeah. Nice. I like that. Nice to actually watch some football, considering that we don't play football at all. Liam saying, after the win against Crystal Palace and West Brom, I never got carried away because I saw this coming. Statman Keith, evening, lads. That feels as bad as Leicester 5-0 and Norwich 3-1 losses last year. It was so bad, it got me thinking Fulham are favourites against Newcastle United in the next game. To think Fulham, no disrespect Fulham, but they've been getting pummeled in certain games. And to think they are favourites is actually a joke, but he's actually right. Yeah, as I said, look, guys, at the start of the stream before these two came in, I said that I didn't watch the whole game. I watched up until 2-1 down, and that was enough for me. I'm now prioritising other things ahead of a Newcastle game, I'll be honest, because Newcastle are not taking up all of my time. I'll speak about it with you guys because it's therapeutic, and it's nice to speak about it with fellow Newcastle fans here in the chat, in the stream as well, in the comment section as well, and online. But I'm kind of glad that we don't go to games, because that would have been a £30 ticket. That would have been train fare or bus fare or whatever fare up to Leeds. That would have been at least a couple hours there and a couple hours back, and all to watch my team shipping 5 goals. So I'm kind of glad in a way I didn't go to that game.
Don't forget the racial abuse as well.
Well, I mean, that comes to the territory. I mean, yeah, but
part of the game.
Yeah, it's all part of the game. But again, look, it's time, money.
5-2 on top of that.
Yeah, 5-2. Yeah. I mean, look, I've managed to kind of save time and money on that, and I'm glad I didn't stay in to watch the whole thing, because I would have missed out on some good content for TV. If you're not following by now, follow it. But yeah, you two watched the game, so you can talk me through it.
To be fair, if you've been watching, it's been coming. You know, we were poor against Palace. We were poor against West Brom.
Yeah. We
were poor against Villa. We didn't even play that game, and we were still poor. So this has been coming. This is Newcastle. We don't actually attack. We just sit there. We let the other team express themselves to a point where they're so comfortable, they don't actually know any other way but to play than to just push us back. We get the ball in transition. I'm even using a basketball term now. We get the ball in the counter attack, if you want to call it that, and we do nothing with it. Sean Longstaff.
Talk to me.
Don't know. I don't know what's gone wrong. Oh, I do know what's gone wrong.
What?
Bruce is a terrible coach. Just a terrible coach. He's giving those. Lewis can't even defend. So I don't think we have a defensive coach here. I think we're still working on that. Yeah. We are just terrible to watch. That's all I can say. I knew we were gonna lose because even when do you know how bad this is, Clint? This is how bad it is.
Yeah, talk to me.
Leeds were there for the spanking. They were there for the spanking. We actually had the quality of players in paper to actually beat them comfortably. But because we play under Bruce, we offer nothing in attack. And we just sit there and hope for individual brilliance. And then we cover the cracks. He played. How is Jacob Murphy at right back? I'm going to let Pete talk before I start calling out people's mums because it's been a long night.
Look, let's face it, it was fucking shit. It was shit, right? It was such a bad overall performance. You know what? Look, when we looked at these fixtures, including Villa, Palace, Leeds, Fulham, when we looked at these sort of 5 games, right? I had down Leeds as a loss because of the way they're playing and the style of play. So like for me, particularly winning against Palace, who I also didn't think we were going to win. I thought we'd take a point from there. And yes, we beat West Brom, which I expected to. Because we got 6 points from those games, I'm thinking, you know what? If we lose, it's not the end of the world because we picked up 6 points. But I feel deflated tonight. And I think the reason why I feel deflated is purely in the manner that we lost the game. That's the biggest frustration. You know what? I think if we'd have lost 3-2 in that game, I don't think fans would have been kicking off as much as they have tonight. Because it's all over Twitter. Fans are asking for Bruce out. They're saying like we're shit, blah blah blah, all the normal stuff when we lose. But it's heightened, and I think it's because of the manner that we lost the game. Because we had two 5-minute spells in a game where we actually attacked and we scored from both of them. Funby's absolutely right. Absolutely 100% right. Leeds were there for the taking. I don't think Leeds played well. I don't think Leeds were great. I don't think they were great at all. I think the key to Leeds winning the game tonight was that they were fitter, and because of their fitness was better than ours, they were able to move and play at a higher tempo than us, and they exploited that. I mean, by 50 minutes in the game, we looked tired. We looked absolutely fucked. But after 50 minutes, you've got players standing there, hands on the knees. Joe Linton, Clark. There was a few others out there that were like literally like absolutely like dead on their feet. They were done, and that was after 50 minutes. So. Look, I think I was a little bit harsh earlier on the other stream where I was kind of saying like, COVID doesn't matter, blah blah blah. It does matter. It rips it out of you when you've got it and you're a positive case. So we do have to take that into consideration. That's probably been my reflection over the last couple of hours, in that it does impact on the players, no matter how fit they are. It will have an impact on them, and I think this was just one game too many. I think we put everything into the tank to get the result at West Brom, and I think we were kind of running on fumes going into this game with Leeds. And you're going into a game running on fumes with a team that are probably one of the fittest teams in the Premier League, and they can run any team into the ground. You're asking for trouble, and you're always gonna, when we normally, if you look at the times that we score, we tend to score in the last 15 minutes of the game. I think we're up there with some of in the top 3 or 4 teams in the Premier League that score the most goals in the last 15 minutes. But tonight, we just looked shot of ideas. And I think it was probably just one game too much, but it was the manner of the defeat. It was the fact that we did track back. It was the fact that we threw so many men up to get up for the corner to score goals, But then as soon as the ball breaks on the counter attack, we were having like 4-on-2. That's how they got the last 2 goals from. It was like 4-on-2. But it was, if you watch the replays, the lack of tracking back. As soon as they see that we're on there on the counter, everyone's in the box in Leeds' box looking around each other, thinking, "I ain't fucking running." And you can see on their faces like they just had no intentions of making any effort whatsoever.
We got too many lazy players.
Yeah, I mean, it was partly tiredness, but partly laziness as well. You're right. I would just go through 1 or 2 players quickly. You had, Jamal Lewis. Defensively, something needs to be done there because attacking wise, he weren't too bad. Getting forward, he's a problem, but he needs to. He's only 21, 22. He's going to develop, but he needs to develop quickly because he can't keep making those mistakes. A couple of the goals tonight were on his side of the pitch where men weren't picked up in position. He wasn't great. He needs to be better with that because it's not just all about running forward and attacking. You can get away with that with Norwich because Norwich was shit last year. For all their attacking intent, they were rock bottom. You can get away with it at Norwich, but you can't get away with it in Newcastle because the expectations on the team and on the players is greater, and he needs to step up to that and be better. Sean Longstaff was an absolute bag of shit, right? The only reason I can think that he played for 94 minutes is because Bruce has got no intentions of playing him on Saturday against Fulham, and I fully expect to see Shelby and Hayden playing in midfield on Saturday. And if Sean Longstaff's anywhere near that starting 11, I'll be pissed off. Because he's had 2 really bad games now, and he looks like he's actually regressing rather than progressing. He looks a shadow of the player he was when he came through with Rafa Benitez. And you know what? He just looks lazy. He looks lazy, and he looks like he just doesn't want to work off the ball. When he's on the ball, he gives the ball away so cheaply. It wasn't a year and a half ago. We were talking about Sean Longstaff being the next Michael Carrick and that he can dictate and control the game. I've not seen him do that in a year. He barely gets the ball. I would love to see his pass completion. Statman Keith, get on it. What's his pass completion this season, right? Because the amount of times he gives the ball away cheaply as well, like not even being pressed, baffles me. It baffles me. And we've lost the battle in midfield twice in 2 games. We lost it against West Brom, although we still won the game, and we lost it again today. And their midfield is not even great. Everyone's banging on about this Calvin Phillips. I thought he was dog shit tonight. I thought he was awful. Their midfield was not good at all, but it was better than ours, and that tells you everything about our midfield tonight.
We don't play football. That's my problem. We don't play football.
Go on for me.
I don't get it. We don't attack people. We don't pass the ball. We don't have an identity. Joe Linton has to go. He just has to go, man. There's no player there. There's no brain. There's no consistency. He gets the ball. He holds it up well. And then he does the most casual of pass. I saw my man try and do a flick. When? Who told you can do flicks? When? You can only do flicks when you score 15 goals in the season. Then you start doing flicks. When you score 3 goals in 25 years, you're not allowed to do flicks. We were fortunate to get the first goal.
It's a difficult one because we kind of like, when he had that game against Palace and him and Callum Wilson linked up well, a lot of people say, he needs a few games under his belt to play with Wilson to give himself a chance. And he has played the last 3 games. And you know what? Fair play to that. But look, regardless of whether he has decent games or he has shit games or he has great games, like, he's just not going to make it as a Premier League player. I'm sorry. Like even if he ends up having a great career, it won't be in England. He's just not suited to the Premier League. He just being honest, he's just not. If you go and let him play in the French league, in the German league, in the Dutch league, he'll score goals. He'll score goals and he'll play well. But he's just not. The Premier League is different. That's why the best players want to come and play in the Premier League. The best foreign players want to come and play over here because it's a different way of playing. And you have to be a certain type of player to be successful over here. He's not. We're going to be having this conversation in a year's time, right? On Joe Linton, right? Because he's just not suited to playing in this country. I'm quite happy to put everything on it that we won't see him improve. We just won't. He'll put performances in like this. He'll have a couple of games where he'll pick up form, and then he'll have another 10 games where he'll drop his form again. We just won't see it from Jolinton. I'm sorry.
I'm just going to read out some of these comments. Liam, Bilic, and Eddie Howe are available. I'll take either of them.
Of course we would. Of course we would. But the reality is...
Whoa. Jake Ray, it is not Bruce, it's the regime. What can you expect with our board? We've been caught on the counter-attack because we're going for it at the end of the game. If you didn't go for it, you'd call him negative. God, I sounded like a flipping.
Yeah, but look,
what's the board got to do with? What's the board got to do with what Bruce is doing?
I think that was.
Can I just answer Jake's question on that one?
Go ahead, man.
Look, we can blame the board all we want. Like we know the board is the overall issue with the club. We've known that for nearly 13 years now. But the board aren't to blame in that performance tonight. The board aren't to blame about the performance against Brighton or the performances against Tottenham or the performances against whoever. You know what I mean? The board aren't to blame for that. That is down to the manager. The manager's been backed this summer. Okay, maybe not as much as we'd all like, but he's been backed. Okay, so you can't blame the board for that. What we can do is that we can, and he talked about the corner and pushing guys up. I'm all for it. Push guys up, but there's got to be a structure.
There must be a plan.
There's got to be a plan. There's got to be a structure. Right, so many men go up. Right, we need you here to sit back just in case there's a counter. You're putting 2 men back, right, and not even players we're blessed with pace either, right, against 4 men. Right, and if you're one of those guys that's going up for a corner and you know you can't be asked to run back, don't fucking go. Right. Look, I'm a manager of a football team. Yeah, not a professional level, but still, the one thing we always say is if you're tired, you stay back. It's as simple as that. We put guys up there that are willing to, if the ball breaks down or the attack breaks down, you get yourself back in. Your first thought is a recovery run, and if you can't do your recovery run, don't go up for a corner. It's as simple as that. And then that should be done that should have been done right on Tuesday morning in their team meeting, right, before the game today, right? It should have been done then again in the team talk before the game today. There's no excuses.
Yo, Pete, to answer that Jake guy's question, I'll ask you this question. Do you think we're better than what we showed tonight?
I think we've got the players to be better.
Absolutely.
If you look at our team player for player, there's a lot of those players in the Leeds team that you can't even name, right? Because they've just come out of nowhere.
And that's what we show up with.
But we did the same. We did the same under Rafa Benitez. A lot of other teams couldn't even name any of our players, but we were out playing, out fighting, tactically outdoing them. Because we had a system and a way of playing. And that's what Bielsa's created at Leeds. He's got players that are not household names, that are not big money signings. He's got maybe 1 or 2, but not big money signings. Look, they're getting Patrick Bamford scoring goals. That guy couldn't barely score a Premier League goal in all the clubs that he'd been at before he came up with Leeds. And they've got him playing well and scoring goals. That's because there's a tactical system that suits the way he plays. And that is Bielsa. We haven't got that. I'm sorry. We have the players to be a top half team.
Yeah.
There is, regardless of us only spending 35 million, with the players that we signed, we have the players to be a top half team. You look at the likes of Villa, you look at the likes of West Ham that are up there, you look at the likes of Southampton, you match all of their players to ours. There is no difference. And in some cases, we're better. But the difference is they've got a way of playing that is getting them results and is making them hard to beat and hard to break down. With us, it's pot luck. We don't know what performance we're getting from game to game. We don't know what formation. We don't know what style of play we're getting from 90 minutes to 90 minutes. That's why the fans are so frustrated. It's not rocket science. There's no system. There's no structure. And until there is a manager in place at the club that is willing and able to give us that, we are going to be here talking about the same shit, getting just as frustrated. And we're going to be seeing the same results. We're going to be getting shot wins and disappointing defeats. That's
Look at West
going
Ham,
to
Pete.
be the Bruce era.
Look at West Ham, Pete.
Yeah.
Look at West Ham. We were mocking them at the beginning of the season. They're 7th.
There you go, because what they've done, they've bought into what the manager wants to do. And yes, Moyes, he's had a shocking, back end to his career just recently with the clubs he's been at and the lack of success. But actually, when he finds a team that fits and suits his style, like he did at Everton, he can build a team, and clearly he's starting something. Whether it continues, I don't know, but he's certainly starting something at West Ham right now, and he's riding that wave. We haven't had that wave. We haven't had a wave. We have a couple of games where we win, and it's a winnable game tonight. And we're thinking, can we go 3 in a row? Can we? And we have an opportunity to really push ourselves up. It took us into top half of the table tonight, and what do? We throw it away.
Big time.
And that's why we'll be a bottom half team. We'll stay in the league, but we'll be a bottom half team purely because we have no consistency, because we have no way of playing.
No, this is going to be our season. This is going to be exactly how our season is. We're going to keep it guessing. I don't get his subs. So predictable. We're losing the game. I don't know why he played Murphy at right back in the first place. I don't understand why. He's not a right back. Doesn't think like a right back.
He was a wing back, wasn't he? It was kind of a 3-5-2, because he kind of started Hayden as sort of like a third centre back and then kind of brought it out. I think he transitioned it into 4-4-2.
It's not working for Hayden. He's been poor in 2 games now because of that. Actually, the West Brom game was actually our best defender, but it's doing him nothing in terms of the midfield.
Yeah. Look, if he was going to rest anyone tonight, I'd have probably took Hayden off later on in the game, because he was one of them that looked absolutely shattered. For me, Matt Ritchie is one of the fittest lads at the club, right? Regardless of whether he's 30 years old.
We had no voice.
He should have played. We had no voice, but we also had no legs, no engine, and he would have given us that. So I'm shocked that he didn't play.
How did Longstaff play 2 games together? How?
Well, this is why I said I think the reason why he's played, the only logical reason I can think why he's played today is because he's not going to play on Saturday. And I hope that I'm right.
He should be dropped for 4 games.
Right. Yeah.
Two times he lost the ball. 2 times. The second time was the corner. I didn't really care at that point anyway, because we were getting our ass kicked anyway. But the first time it was at 2-2, and he got the ball and he tries to take a touch, and he takes the worst touch because he has no touch. You played nothing for 90 minutes, and the moment you get the ball to your feet, you try and take an extra touch. Just boot it. We actually could have controlled the game after that.
Yeah. He did it in the first half. I remember he got the ball in midfield, no one around him, 10 yards either side. And he got the ball into his feet, nothing wrong with the pass, and he took a god-awful touch. And when it did, it allowed their players to come and nick the ball off him. And 2 men pressed him, nicked the ball off him. And I think it was like a 3-on-2 situation in the first half.
Yep.
And I'm thinking, what the hell is going on? How can you put that much pressure on your team by having the inability to control the football? And everyone was billing him the next Michael Carrick in how he can dictate the game, and it just looks like he can't even control the ball at the moment. I'm thinking, how did he justify himself being in the team? Well, we said in the summer he needs minutes, he needs to play, he needs to build his fitness. He's had minutes now. He's had lots of games. He's had lots of game time, but he's putting.
He's not going to improve under Bruce, Pete. He can't improve under Bruce.
I really can't see it. I just can't
see it.
Look. It's a worry. It's a worry because midfield is very, very quickly become an area where we need to make some improvements. And fortunately for us, because look, let's face it, we're not getting any permanent signings in January. That's just not what Mike Ashley generally does. But we've got a couple of loans available, and I think one of them has to be as soon as possible a centre midfielder, because we need a dynamic centre midfielder that's going to create and give us something. We were linked with a player that played against us on Saturday very, very well in Conor Gallagher. He was fantastic for West Brom, and we were linked with him all summer for him to come to us. And obviously we got Jeff Hendrick instead for me, I'd take him if he was to cancel his loan at West Brom and come to us. I'd take him all day long. But yeah, Statman Keith. So his pass completion rate this season 47.40%. That tells you everything you need to know about Sean Longstaff this season. 40 a midfielder. So you think about how many times he's had the ball, how many touches he's had on the ball per game, and that's his pass completion rate. Jesus, that is bad. That is bad for,
we need
for a midfielder
to
that's meant
do
to be a
something about Lewis,
controlling
man.
midfielder. But look,
We need to do something about Lewis.
Lewis needs coaching. You know, we say about Sean Longstaff, Lewis needs coaching from a defensive point of view. Now, I'm sorry, you've got Steve Agnew, who is a defender at Premier League level, and you've got Steve Bruce, a former Premier League champion, FA Cup winner at Man United. You've got two defenders there that should be coaching him how to defend. At 21 years old, he's not the finished article. We're not going to be expecting Andrew Robertson performances. But there's a reason why Liverpool wanted him, because they felt that they could coach him into being that player. So we need to, with the tools that we've got, we need to start coaching him on how to defend, how to position himself, because he didn't get that at Norwich. He was just told to attack. He's got to develop that side of his game, and I believe he will under the right manager. Whether it's with us, I have no idea, but I believe he will, and I believe he'll be a really, really good left back. So I'm kind of, you know, he wasn't great, and he wasn't great against West Brom, but I'm kind of, that's where I stop. I don't want to be hounding him or jumping on him because he's a young lad, and he's a young lad with potential, and I think he'll be a good player for us. He's already had some good games for us this season, and I think he'll get better, but we need to be patient with him, but he also needs to be coached right.
Good question here from Keith saying, lads, will you take cup exits against Brentford, Arsenal, and a run of league losses if it meant Ashley sacked Bruce soon after Christmas?
No.
No. I'll take us winning the FA Cup, winning the Premier League, winning the Carling Cup, and then still sacking Bruce. I'll take that.
It can't be good, but you won the other.
Look, Bruce is never gonna play the type of football that any Premier League team enjoys. I'm not just talking as a Newcastle fan now. I'm talking there's no other Premier League team that would hire him as manager, because he hasn't traditionally played the football that gets the fans of any club off their seat. And you ask any other previous manager, any previous club that he's managed, and they'll tell you exactly the same. I've got a mate that's a Sheffield United, big Sheffield United fan. He said the same. I've got a mate that's a Villa fan. He said the same. Shit manager, plays awful football. The best thing that ever happened is when he got sacked. And that's coming from two other very, very separate clubs. And so that's the reality. However, I want Bruce to go. I don't think he's the guy to take us forward. But at the same time, I want Newcastle to win every game they play. I'm just that guy. I'm not a guy that would take negative results in order for a manager to get sacked. That's not what I'm about. I want Newcastle to win every game they play. And ultimately, I want them to get to a cup final. You know what I mean? I want Newcastle to be in a cup final with potential winning. And we've got a really good opportunity to get to the semi-finals of a cup. When was the last time we got to a semi-final of the cup? It was a long time ago.
It don't matter though, Pete, because we're going to lose regardless.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Look, I'm not thinking about that yet. I just want to get to the semi-final first, see who we get, and let's go from there. If we're in it, we need to be in it to win it, and we need to put a team out that's going to win the game, not putting out the reserves or the third team or the fringe players. I want us to go first team, and I want us to go for it. But whilst we're in the position that we are now, 17 points, relatively comfortable, right, in the league, why not go for it? You know, if we're sitting second from bottom, and we're struggling for points, then I would understand is putting out a patched up side in order to focus on the league. But we've got no reason to worry at this moment in time. And actually, we're playing a championship team in the Carabao Cup, and we're playing, let's face it, a shit Arsenal team at the moment that are there for the taking. Why not go for it? You know,
we will go for it.
There are two winnable games over Christmas. We've got Man City, we've got Liverpool, and we've got Leicester. So really, Brentford on one side of the Christmas fixtures and Arsenal on the opposite side of the Christmas fixtures, they're our two most winnable games, if I'm honest.
Not if we played the way we played, though.
Well, I'm just looking at the teams that we're playing. Leicester lost tonight, but they're generally on form. They've got good players. Liverpool are Liverpool. Man City are Man City. Although they can be had, we'll probably stick 5 men behind the ball and lose it 5-0. But so Brentford away, a championship club, let's face it, regardless of how well they're doing in the league, they're a championship club. And Arsenal, who are 4 points below us at the moment, 3 points below us at the moment in the league. Why not go for it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, Keith saying if Newcastle get to the League Cup semi-final, it'll be the first time they've got to the semi-final in that cup in 45 years. When they
that's not really
cup in
that's not really nothing. That doesn't really say nothing to me. It's not surprising. It's not like we've been dominating for the past 25 years, so it's not surprising to me. That's just how it is. When's the last time we won the league? When's the last time we got to the FA Cup final? You know, well, that was almost 20 years ago as well. So those things can happen. I'm not tripping off of that. What I don't like is watching Newcastle play, and I feel like throwing up. Like I had to watch that with my brother, and I kept on apologizing for what he was seeing. He couldn't wait to see his team play Liverpool so he could watch some real football. My brother actually had to apologize to me when he saw their third goal, the second goal, the header. He actually apologized for celebrating because it was such a brilliant goal. Then we saw the last goal they scored, and I almost shed a tear because Man's are scoring 25-yarders.
I heard it was a banger.
By the way, Darlow and Clark were our best players. Darlow does not deserve the treatment he's getting from this team. He deserves better, okay? Because if not for Darlow, we could have been losing 6-7-0 this season. Easy money.
Wow, I never thought that would come out of your
He
mouth.
made 3 incredible saves in the first half, which I all thought were in. The crossbar one, he was so unfortunate because he actually hit the crossbar. And then what do our players do? Just sleep. Let Bambi handle the rest. So we don't even give him cover. The Branco must be thinking, I don't need to rush back to this defense. They're not going to protect me. They'll fuck up my record. It's embarrassing from head to bottom. Jolinton can't pick a pass. Jolinton cannot pick a pass.
And that's the thing. It's frustrating because he's conceded 5 goals today, and none of them really are his fault. There's nothing really he could do about any of them. And that must be the biggest. Well, you look at the 4th and 5th goal, the way he reacts to the goals going in. He doesn't react and kind of say, "Oh, they're great strikes." He's looking at players, and you can see he's without saying anything, he's calling players out because of their positional play and where they were and how people were tracking back, and you can see that people weren't doing their jobs, which is what's caused the goals. And that's the frustration.
I think he's too humble, Pete.
Yeah, equally though, this has always been the thing because a lot of Newcastle fans have called for us to go forward at the back, and I've always said, go forward at the back because we can create. It means that we create a little bit more or get more men forward, but forward at the back with this current team, it creates more problems for us in terms of conceding goals. It just does in general. When we have 5 at the back, we are generally, although it's not great going forward, it makes us more difficult to break down. So whether we transition that in games, whether we should have done that at 2-2 and gone to 3 at the back and made it difficult for them, I don't know. But that's obviously not for us. That's for the manager to sort out. But 4 at the back against particularly attacking teams does create problems for us because it means that they create more chances.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing much more to say about this game. Flipping out. Next game, Brentford, Championship.
Oh, you sound like you had enough, fam. How did you feel about the game?
Bro, as I said, I cut at 2-1. I made a decision either to get some content for Roots TV or stay and watch the game. And then basically Newcastle made my mind up for me. We conceded a second goal. I could feel like the floodgates were going to open. And lo and behold, by the time I got to goals, I think it was 5-2. So I made the right call. So there you have it. I've not even seen the the additional 3 goals yet. I'm not seeing all the 4 goals because we obviously scored a second. But
good goal, Oz. The delivery from the one thing I'll say is a positive is Ryan Fraser was very good tonight. He looked shattered after 60 minutes. He ain't played for a while. But I actually thought in the first half,
it's not easy playing with trash, you know.
No.
It's not easy playing with trash.
You're right, but he gave us something different on that left hand side.
Bro.
But his delivery was very good, very good. We've missed that.
You can tell he's not 100% sharp yet because sometimes he couldn't sort his feet out, but you could tell that its intention, desire was there, and it was like, you know, sometimes the runners off him was just puzzling to me. I don't even think they understood what to do when he got the ball to his feet. But yeah, you could see he was shattered after, like, he couldn't even run it, man. But
and that's what. To be fair, it was the right decision to bring him off. But you gotta think he hasn't played much football with the lads. He's been injured and unfit for the majority of it. So the little things like where he wants the ball and how he wants to receive the pass, they won't know that completely yet. It's still they're still figuring that out as a team, getting to know him. But what you could see him playing on that left, he certainly offers something different than Alan St-Maximin, and actually what you would want is for Ryan Fraser to be playing on the left and St-Maximin potentially to be playing on the right, and have them both, because the key to us actually getting some success from Leeds was just running at them. They hated the fact that we ran at them. I thought Jacob Murphy did that really well in the second half. He just got the ball and thought, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to run at you, and they couldn't handle him. They could not handle him. Ryan Fraser did the same in the first half and actually created the goal for Hendrick off that, because he just got the ball and just ran at the right back, and the right back didn't know what to do. Whipped the ball in. Callum Wilson got the flick on. Hendricks put the ball in. And the game can be so simple at times. That's all it is. That's all the striker wants. He wants to know that a winger is going to get the ball, beat his man, and get it into the box, so he knows he can make a run. It's not rocket science. Strikers were doing that in the 90s. Wingers were doing that in the 90s, early 2000s, 2010 and beyond. For some reason, it's all about cutting inside now, and like Ronaldo and the Bales and that have created this mindset that every winger has to now, you know, if you're a left footer, you have to play on the right hand side. If you're a right footer, you have to play on the left. It's like not all players play like that. It doesn't always work like that.
Or have to play like that.
Or have to play like that, exactly. For me, St-Maximin is at his best when he's running at players. He cannot run at players with the same effectiveness when he's on the left-hand side, because naturally, he just wants to constantly cut in. He wants to cut in onto his favourite foot, which is his right-hand side. So all teams do now against him is just double up. They double up on the inside because they know he's always going to go down there. And if he turns out on his left, he doesn't play it with his left. He always then cuts back again because he's not left-footed. Whereas he's played his best football, in my opinion, on the right-hand side, because he can get the ball and just run at a player and cross it in. You think of the ball he whipped in for Callum Wilson against Burnley. You know what I mean? Like, he did it again in restart against West Ham, where he ran down the right-hand side, created havoc, put the ball in. I think, Almiron gets a goal from it. It can be so simple. But, you know, why is it that we're noticing these things and Steve Bruce isn't? Because since that West Ham game, he barely plays him on the right-hand side. Where for me, I think it's been his most effective position. I don't want him actually cutting in on the right and cutting on to his right foot all the time, because defenders know how to play against him. That's why he becomes ineffective. That's why I think Bruce moved him into the centre. He's now becoming effective there. Play him on the right-hand side. Give him an opportunity. Play your best players. Fraser on the left. St-Maximin on the right. Both of them can cross the ball in and deliver good balls. Callum Wilson and Dwight Gale could have a field day. It can be so simple sometimes, but sometimes managers, and in particular Steve Bruce, makes it unbearably complicated, and it doesn't need to be.
I think, you know what, that's enough, bro. I'm not gonna lie. To sum it up, Liam summed it up beautifully there. This is the best team we've had in years, and we've got worse. And I think that's enough. I mean, look, on to the next one. We've got Brentford in a cup next, I believe.
Fulham at home on Saturday.
Yeah, that's a write-off. So that's why. Because we're shit. Why? It's a write-off. You don't see us tonight. Lord of mercy. Hey, Done. Done.
Well, Fulham
Right.
weren't great tonight either. Fulham
Yeah,
3-0 at home to Brighton, and Brighton absolutely pummeled them. And for all the big talk about Brighton, we're a lot of points ahead of Brighton at the moment.
And plus, I think they'll be tired.
bro.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about this again anyway nearer the time.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. Right. Thank you guys for watching, listening, and joining us as always.
All right, lads.
Sorry we couldn't bring you good news. We're shit.